While we are focusing on giving Cocoa Bean a peaceful and final resting place and watching our outdoor chickens, turkeys, and ducks live their best, cleanest lives, it makes me look at the commercial food and medical systems quite differently. We raise our own birds because we want to know exactly what goes into them. And lately, looking at the news, that choice feels more urgent than ever. Hey y'all, I'm Susan at the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. This is Homestead Happenings, episode 46. So grab something to drink, whether it's hot or cold, and settle into your favorite comfy chair. We are digging our heels into the dirt today and talking about the massive amount of recalls. Let's start with our pets, a much-loved member of our family. Here on the ranch, we are pivoting away from mainstream pet foods. Although we will still be feeding an all-natural and organic kibble to our fur babies for the extra nutrition that they require, we will be leaning heavily on homemade foods as well. Here's the truth. Commercial pet food has faced a massive spike in scrutiny, pushing pet owners to the breaking point. Pet food recalls nearly doubled over the last few years, jumping from 7 major recalls in 2023 to a massive 13 recalls in 2025. High-profile brands like Pedigree recently had to pull wet dog food due to plastic contamination risks. Multiple brands issued recalls for toxic spikes in vitamin D or catastrophic deficiencies in essential nutrients like B1. Simultaneously, salmonella and listeria outbreaks drove constant pullbacks on commercial raw brands. When you feed commercial kibble, you are entirely at the mercy of the factory's quality control. Making your own pet food using homestead supplies like excess eggs, cold poultry, and organ meats is an excellent way to bypass commercial recall risks. However, don't just feed your pets just meat and eggs. While a coyote can survive on whole wild prey, a bowl of pure meat and eggs lack critical minerals like calcium, zinc, and iodine, and will cause severe nutritional deficiencies over time. Dogs are adaptive omnivores, while cats are obligate carnivores. They must eat meat and have a strict biochemical need for specific amino acids like taurine. Dogs thrive on a balance of high-quality protein, healthy fats, and digestible carbs and fiber. The ratio by weight: 70% meats and eggs, such as chicken, turkey, duck, or rabbit. 10% organ meats, vital for vitamins such as a 5% split of liver and the other 5% of organ meats like kidney, spleen, or sweetbreads. 15% non-starchy vegetables, pureed or steamed, like pumpkin, squash, carrots, or green beans. Dogs can't break down raw, whole vegetable cell walls very easily. 5% natural supplements like calcium, kelp, and healthy oils. Cats are incredibly fragile when it comes to dietary shifts. They can't synthesize certain essential nutrients and will go blind or develop a heart failure without them. Never add vegetables and grains or starches to cat food. By weight ratio: 80% muscle meat, chicken thighs, turkey breast, heart meat. Heart meat is rich in taurine and is excellent for cats. 10% organ meats, 5% liver for the vitamin A, 5% secretional organs like kidney, 10% bone or bone substitute, finely ground raw bone or eggshell powder. They also need vitamin E and salmon oil. Never feed cooked bones because cooking makes bones brittle and can splinter into razor-sharp shards that can puncture your pet's stomach and intestines, requiring emergency surgery. If you are transitioning your pets to a 100% homemade diet permanently, it is highly recommended to use a base mix vitamin powder like Just Food for Dogs or Easy Complex mixed into your homemade Homestead pet food so that you aren't creating a long-term micronutrient deficiency. Let's pivot to the human supply chain crack-up. It isn't just pet food. Our own grocery store shelves are riddled with systematic failures. Across the FDA and USDA, there have been 296 total recalls in 2024, which then climbed to 320 recalls in 2025. That translates roughly to 5 to 6 major recalls every single week. You'll want to stick around to the very end because we're going to get into some deep subjects of what is failing us in the pharmaceuticals. In 2024 alone, hospitalizations and deaths from foodborne illnesses more than doubled. Hospitalizations shot up from 230 to 487. Deaths jumped from 8 to 19, led by massive failures from the deli meat like listeria outbreaks and the nationwide cucumber salmonella crisis. In 2025, nearly half of all the FDA recalls, a 45.8%, were caused by simple allergen mislabeling or undeclared ingredients, while 37.5% were pathogens like listeria and salmonella. We even saw a bizarre cluster of 11 different recalls for frozen shrimp contamination. It was contaminated with a radioactive isotope, cesium-137. Organic or premium labels on the grocery store product doesn't guarantee safety. The shorter the distance from the dirt to your plate, the safer your family is. Recent headlines regarding a massive fruit and vegetable health scare causing explosive diarrhea corresponds with Cyclospora parasite outbreak hitting the USA. The crisis has hit multiple states, and as a crisis with public health agencies, they are looking at specific culprits. Health agencies have logged an unusually massive spike in an intestinal illness caused by a microscopic parasite. It is typically introduced into the food supply when fresh produce is washed in water that is contaminated with human feces. Investigators are working towards understanding which foods are contaminated by doing patient interviews. Track A, leafy greens and salad mixes. Over 2,800 cases have been reported in Michigan alone, nearly 30 times their annual average. Taco Bell was hit when they posted signs stating they temporarily were unable to serve lettuce, cilantro, onions, pico de gallo, or guacamole due to the supply chain recall precautions. Track B is a separate E. coli outbreak with frozen organic blueberries. The FDA issued a strict recall on frozen blueberries from Greenwise sold in public stores across 8 states. It is a separate concurrent outbreak. Until specific commercial growers or suppliers are entirely identified, public health officials are advising strict food prep. Avoid bagged greens, and they are suggesting using whole heads of lettuce, rather than the pre-washed salad greens. Peel away outermost layers of the leaves is highly recommended. Wash with friction. Thoroughly wash and scrub snow peas, herbs, and leafy greens. Avoid fresh raspberries as it is impossible to fully wash the surfaces. The only 100% fix is cooking your vegetables to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Proverbs 22:3, King James Version. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. A prudent person sees the red flags in the industrial supply chain and takes action. Our channel schedule is Monday and Friday full-length videos. Wednesday podcast, all drop at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Once a month, third Monday live at 11 a.m. Be on the lookout for more interactive content in our videos, our video shorts, and community tab posts. Now, if you think the issues are isolated to the messy food factories, this next part should make your skin crawl. We expect medicine to be perfect, sterile, and highly regulated. But the pharmaceutical supply chain has hit its worst safety environment in decades. Over the last 2 years, pharmaceutical recalls surged by 140.2% in unit volume. Drug manufacturers had to pull a staggering 858 million total products off the market due to severe manufacturing failures. Foreign matter, white threads, glass, human hair, black particles, and microbial growth were some of the reasons for the recalls. Other reasons included labeling mix-ups, chemical impurities, and failing dissolution tests. If I were a betting person, I might believe any or all of these things were being purposely done. When you look at the sheer volume of all the failures with pet food, our food, and the list of pharmaceutical recalls, it stops looking like a string of bad luck and it starts looking like either total incompetence or a deliberate dismantling of our self-reliance. We aren't just going to pass on and take the punishment. Every time we build on our homestead, every time we hatch out a new clutch of chicks, gather an egg, or take control of what goes into the fur babies' bowls, we are pulling a chip off their bedding table. We are hiding ourselves from the broken system. They can't recall what's growing in our own backyard. Folks, the system is telling us exactly who it is right now, too. Whether these mass recalls are a result of total corporate incompetence or something more sinister, the writing is on the wall. We cannot guarantee the safety of your food, your pet's food, or your family's medicine. But as homesteaders, we don't have to live in fear, and we don't have to gamble with our health. We choose to be prudent. We call evil for what it is, and we hide from it. When you look at your yard and see your own chickens, your own turkeys, your own gardens, remember this: they can't recall the sovereignty you grow in your own backyards. Keep digging, keep watching over your herds, and we'll see you on the next episode. Be blessed and a blessing.